I'm in the studio today in South End, Charlotte, on this beautiful, misty, rainy 70-degree weather day with Rev Ford. This guy right here is absolutely an animal. How tall are you?
6'2".
And you were 300. Now you're what, about 260?
No, I'm actually 291 this morning. I'm working on going down.
This dude looks like I swear to God, UFC called and said, if you could lose 20 pounds, I'll have another heavyweight championship of the world. This dude is like beast, man. Garrett, good morning, man. What's up?
Good morning. I'm just excited to be here. It's a beautiful It's been a nice little bit of a break from that 95-degree weather we've had.
Yeah.
And I get to talk to two cool dudes. And
I know, exactly. So, Rev, we've got a history of knowing each other, and I wanted to dive deep into some topics that I want to talk about today. Who are you, and what do you do?
Yeah, man. So Rev Ford, first and foremost, married, husband, right?
Yeah.
Over 5 years. My beautiful wife, got 2 daughters. That's fantastic.
You rushed it. 5 years?
Yeah.
Kids, man.
Dude, I was ready to be a dad early.
And you're how old?
30.
Wow. God,
30.
you're so much older than that.
That's what I try to give off so people listening when I talk to them, they think I've been around the block a little bit.
So two kids.
Yep.
And what are their names?
So Claire's almost 3. She'll be 3 September 1st. And then Greer is a little over 3 months old.
3 months, man.
So I'm in it a little bit right now, but it's been fun, man.
Awesome. So married, 2 kids.
Married, 2 kids. Yep. Christian.
What do you do?
And I am a business banker. Work with all kind of businesses, all kind of different industries, all kind of throughout Charlotte and surrounding areas. And it's really fun, man.
When I was in college and I got my marketing degree, and I talked to friends of mine that go, I'm going to be a banker. What the hell is a banker? Like, really, deep down, like if your brain is opening up and go, okay, they lend money.
Yeah, that's kind of usually a lot of times where people stop right there. Where can someone pay me?
Right.
Someone give me money.
If you think of a banker, what does a banker do? Like this, let's get a job description of what bankers do or what the banks actually do. What is a bank? What does a bank do?
Well, bank really holds money, right? Help people make interest. They invest people's money and they lend people's money, and kind of a variety of that, right? And there's variation of services of how to protect people's money and how to send people's money and receive people's money. And then us as bankers is our job to best kind of guide people on how to manage the income, the inflows and outflows of their money, and how we can best advise them to try to grow their money.
What's the number one advice you give a small business that wants to grow their business in banking? Like, what can you do for a small business?
Well, I think credit's the number one thing, right? I mean, knowing how to start early, whether it's a credit card or do something to kind of get your things rolling from a credit standpoint, right? Minimal debt on the credit cards, things like that. But I think just manage your working capital, have more coming in than going out. And I think a lot of that comes to just being really diligent and staying on top of your finances. I got a lot of business owners who hardly ever look at their accounts, for weeks, and then they may miss the charge here or there, especially in this day and age we talked about this earlier with all the fraud that's going out there, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure you're protected, have a good, stable business before you start working on growing it.
So follow up with that. So as a small business owner, you're managing, owning, running, cutting, plotting, whatever it is you do. How many times should a small business owner actually check their accounts?
Every single day.
Every day.
100%. At least once.
Morning, noon, night. What are we talking?
I would say morning, so you can see what process the day before, right? That's what I would recommend. Because, or you have someone you really, really trust who's doing that for you, right? Who's been there a while. But we like to.
You're talking about inside your company,
right?
Okay,
exactly.
Like an accountant or a bookkeeper.
Yeah, something like that. Who
accounts payable person.
Exactly. Who you task with that role, you feel comfortable, but at the same time, you also have the ability to kind of override them, right? In case anything ever happens, right? Because you're the one holding the ownership in the company.
That's good information to know if you're a small business. Even if you're a personal accounts, you should go in and log in every morning, just check to make sure there's no fraud, there's no things going on.
100%.
If you have a 15, 16, 17-year-old, your kids are going to get older. Mm-hmm. And when you want to advise your children to establish credit, what would you say the very best thing for them to do is?
I think a credit card is the easiest, like jump starter, right? And using on your expenses, but paying it off almost as fast as you pay it. So, I mean, you want to keep it below 20% utilization to help build your credit, right? And the earlier you can do that and the more you can use that card, people are kind of shy away from credit cards because people don't use them properly, right? You load it up and you make monthly payments, but you're getting crushed on the interest and you're, running your credit down, right? If you use it properly, you can build it up. And then once you get to the point where you graduate or whatever, you have enough credit build up to buy a house. Then you can get into, a car and, stuff like that, right?
What'd you do when you were in college? How'd you build credit?
So funny story. I actually didn't, I never used a credit card, but right, it's do as you say, not as you do, right? So I've learned, as soon as I got out, I got a credit card and started building up and we got a house.
What was your first credit card?
What was the limit?
What was your first one? Did you go Chase?
Oh no, I went Bank of America. So, I went to Elon University and we had Bank of America on the corner right there. So I could go grab that and go grab some Chick-fil-A or something I needed. When I got my first.
Yeah. How old were you when you got your first credit card?
I think I was probably 21.
No way.
2021.
It was after I graduated college that I got my first. I applied for 2.
Yeah. And you know what I think that boils down to is because I think back in the day in education system, people were taught how to prepare for that. I don't think I never had a class I took that was real life things, right? Whether it was home ec back in the day or something. They don't
life
always do
skills.
that.
I had a life skills class,
Right.
and it didn't teach me any life skills.
Right.
It was pointless, but it was never about, hey, this is how you pay off a credit card. This is what a credit card's for. This is what interest means. This is what you need to do to be financially comfortable or successful.
Right.
Nobody goes into that in
Fair.
high school,
No.
let alone college.
Right.
College, they'll scrutinize you on finite math, but God forbid you actually want to learn how to actually be a human in the functioning world.
100%. And so that's why I feel like a lot of younger people I'm working with are in the same boat as I was. And so I'm trying to educate definitely my kids, but my prospects, clients, anybody I run into who has, wants to hear me, of what I would recommend them do.
What about YouTube? What if you started a small YouTube channel, and an advocate of education, and just start a 3-minute everyday little thing saying, hey, go to the BP gas station and apply for a gas card, a $500 limit, and just every time you go get gas, do gas. That's where I started. So what happened is, for example, I got a gas card because gas cards were easy to get because they had really low limits. So you could literally apply for it if you had a Pulse. I could put one of my dog's name if I wanted to. Just whatever. Then I got a Structure, Gap. I used to go to the department stores and I used to apply for the Belks, that kind of thing. So when you go to the department stores, they were like, hey, you want to save 10%, get a credit card. Structure. I don't know if you remember this company called Structure. It was a clothing store for men, and I used to go in there. So I ended up getting 4 or 5 of these cards. I was in college. I was like, I need some new threads. Next thing you know, I had $1,000 bill, and I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And then the interest rate's 18%.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we got there. I hope you were advocating for the retail store credit card.
What I was advocating for is the ease of getting them.
It is.
Okay, so what I'm saying is there's a level of getting credit cards, right? If you go to Bank of America or you go to your bank or whatever, the other avenues, the gas stations, the department stores, they're going to be easier because they have really low limits. And they're going to be like, hey, $500. Okay, worst case scenario, the guy might or might not pay it back.
The beauty of modern credit cards now is that you can go online, and this. You can get approved for a $20,000 limit, but if you're getting one for your kid and they get a $20,000 limit, but you can set a cap as to what they spend. Okay, cool. They hit their limit at $1,000. All right, time to pay it.
Yep. So do you think actually buying a car, as a parent, and you want to co-sign and put it in your...
That's a great thing I would recommend, because then you as a parent have your hand on it to make sure the payments are made, but then you can use that as a coaching tool to teach your kids how to be accountable and keep track of when the payments are due, make sure you have enough in your account to cover it. Yeah, that's a great thing to do, I think. I'm probably going to do that for sure.
Where do you think there's the best education for parents and for kids to find this information? Where do you think the best information for people to search for? Where do you think the avenue that they'll learn?
Shoot, I mean, like I said, I don't know. There's nothing really out there right now, from an education standpoint in schools. So, I mean, I think it's trying to find somebody in the finance world who can kind of help coach you up and educate you. And that's why, like, in my role, I try to educate my clients and, both on the business side and the personal side and prospects of how to best manage it and how to, coach your kids up and prepare and all the right tools and stuff. That's kind of what I've done.
How about you, Garrett?
Hey, I didn't know any of this.
Who taught you?
Life.
My dad doesn't use a credit card.
I mean, my parents use a credit card all the time, and I just always thought, okay, it's that magical thing. Nobody taught me. So when I got approved for my 2 first credit cards, I didn't spend a lot of money, but I didn't, that interest really snuck in. I finally paid one off, I don't know, 5 years ago. From when I originally started out, it had a $6,000 limit, and then it kept getting raised and raised because I made my payments on time. I made all that, did all that. But nobody tells you that you have the ability to stop spending on that card.
So getting into compound interest,
Mm-hmm.
talk to me a little bit about compound interest and how valuable that is for investing, but also what that can do to hurt you on credit cards.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially one thing I thought of when talking about credit cards, almost every credit card is going to come out with a promo rate, right? That you think that's what you're going to get, but it's usually a 6 months or 9 months or 12-month thing. And it goes up to 20, 21,
Right.
22%.
0% interest for the first year, and then it's 28%.
Well, like 3 months.
Yeah. But you forget about that pretty quick. You sign,
Yeah.
where do I sign? And you forget about it. But yeah, man, to your point, like going back to like telling people how to get into finance, like get a money market, like start earning some interest. Like first thing I did, the one thing I didn't do the credit card, but 401k, I maxed that thing out, 12%. I was living at home 2 years. I said, hey, I'm saving money. I'm going to put as much as I can in my 401k. And I think that's the best thing you can do. Right. And then you live like you don't have it. You get used to that. And then you can start your budget. You don't feel that 12%, So, I mean, I think using a credit card as much as you can, but the right way, paying it off, because you're getting bonus points back and you're building your credit, which is a win-win, right? And then, having your money market, which is compounding interest, going to pay more and more and more. But eventually, when you get older, you feel comfortable maybe doing some investments and maybe even get a higher yield.
Which credit cards do you think are the best ones?
Um,
I'm just saying, like, for overall perspective, top 3, 5. If you're small business, I think Amex is the best for small business.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
Like the hotels that we travel to and the flights, all of the products. So right now, we run our entire company off Amex. I can add cards that Garrett has one, other store managers, Jeremy has one, and other people have one. And we can set limits. You can see what they purchase. It goes all into a point system. So we found this points.com site that you go and you can transfer like to Qantas Air into a Hawaiian Air and then transfer it back to American. And then you have hotels that you can have points. And it's literally this whole game of shuffleboard and points, right? Now, 10 years ago, I had one credit card. I am a huge believer in zero debt. I absolutely get anxiety over debt. I don't like debt. I hate it. It's like a weight. It's like putting a 100-pound monkey on your back all day long. So when I first ran multiple stores and started doing quite a bit of business, I ran everything on debit cards. So me having a little bit of an accounting background and marketing background, I said, okay. And I remember my dad, because he was not a CPA, but he was kind of a CPA. He was a controller at a big corporation. And he used to say, well, if your bank account's going down, you're losing money. If your bank account's going up, you're making money. So I was like, all right, I'm going to run my entire business that way. Here's my expenses. Here's my income. And I would just watch the bank account, see if it went up and down, up and down, up and down. And I did everything off debit cards. Well, there's a big problem that I did not realize at that time was, number one, you don't get points for debit card. Number two is the safety and the recourse. It's the recourse.
Because the bank's money, not your money.
What's the recourse? Okay, so what happens is that when you order parts, because I was doing rims, I was doing tires, I was doing stereos, I was doing everything under the sun, pimp your ride, customizing, and we'd order parts. I'd put it on my debit card. Next thing you know, that part was wrong. I'd have to order another part. I have to send that one back, make sure that credit. I had thousands of dollars of parts that just hadn't gotten sent back, and it literally was sitting there, right? But if they were all on a credit card, I'd have that 30 to 45 day float, And then I was basically bleeding cash by ordering parts and having the customers not pick them up, or they didn't come pay for them, or they put a deposit down, but they didn't come pay. And I realized, I was like, you know what? I'm getting out of this game and I'm going to focus on tent. Here's the inventory of tent. We put it on a car, you get paid, and there's the transactions. And the inventory is not going to go bad. It's going to fit every car. So I started to realize with a couple of friends that literally were like, Mike, you need to get an Amex. I'm like, no. I was against it for like 2 years. I was like, no. And then I ran into a couple other people that ran it, and they started talking to me in more basic terms, going, you can do the points. And I said, I don't understand points. I was just so...
Because that's how you were taught, right?
Right.
You were taught, you want to have more money.
Credit bad.
Yeah.
Credit bad.
I don't want to owe anybody anything, right?
Yeah, and I've heard the Grant Cardones that say buying a home is your worst investment. And I'm like, how is that even possible? I don't think the way he does. And he is basically like, look, anything that's a depreciating asset. And they go, well, how is a home depreciating? And when I started to listen to him a little bit further, and I'm like, I see some of the points where you got taxes, you got property tax on your house. And then you've got insurance on your house, and then you've got an air conditioning that breaks.
Yeah, all the expenses.
And then you've got an HOA that dues, right? And then you've got maintenance on just about everything in the house. Every 3 to 5 years, something's breaking, something's breaking.
Got to get a new roof. You got to get
right
windows, right? So leaks, dishwasher, all these things. If you rent, it's someone else's responsibility. The taxes, if the taxes go up 50%, or you have a reevaluation of your neighborhood and you lived in a house that was $800,000, but it's now worth 1.4, and then all of a sudden the tax rate was X and now the tax rate's here, you rent. Your rent's locked into 5 years. There's your payment. That's on the dude that owns the house. I can see. Tell me what your thoughts are on the pros. No, I'm just saying the pros to cons. Like if you're coming out of school and you're 24 and you're looking to buy a house, I think people
good luck
under 30 aren't able to buy a home right now.
No, it's really hard, man. And I was lucky enough that the first house we bought in 2019 had enough equity to pretty much cover the
good time
down payment. Yeah, exactly. So I got lucky there. So the second house we bought, I came out of pocket zero, which was great. And we had a lot more space, and it's a great spot for our family. But right now, man, to find anything, like my brother-in-law, he's renting right now, and he wants to buy a house so much. Everything is so expensive. And so and that's really across the board, right? Everything costs so much right now.
I don't think so.
Money's expensive.
A lot of, well, it's trending back, but a lot of people are like in a waiting game, right? Especially on interest rates, waiting for the drop, right? Waiting to figure out the whole tariff situation. There's a lot of waiting.
So I talk to very, very wealthy people. I've traveled all over the world, and I meet every different type of personality, and everybody's got a different opinion, right? And I hear someone say, there's 3 rules of real estate. What are they? Garrett knows it.
Buy low, sell high.
No. What's the 3 rules of real estate?
I want to hear from you.
Location.
Location. So what happens is when you see a development or you see a piece of property that is the location, like it's a prime spot. Let's say Queens right over here.
Sure,
right?
sure.
And you've got a house that's 25, 30 years old. It's in disarray. And you look at the comps and you look at the area, and you're the one that knows the woman who's about to sell that house but hasn't put it on the market. And you go, I'm waiting for interest rates to get lower. You know in your heart that the lot down the street sold for $500,000. You know that house has been tore down next to it, and there's now a $5 million home over there, and this lady's wanting 1.2 for a tear down. But you know you can spend $1 to $2 million on this house, and you have a $5 million house.
Sure.
Location. So if you see the right opportunity and you see the right location, you've got to do the math. And my new thing in my head is the math ain't mathin', it ain't doing. So math needs to math. And so if you know projection wise in 5 years where the trends of the market are going, and you know there's less and less land and there's less and less opportunities, Charlotte's getting bigger and bigger and growing outwards. Okay. So if you're inward and you see the hot spots that were always are going to be hot, Myers Park's always going to be hot. South Park's always going to be hot. Like, Dilworth's going to always be hot. Like you have to look at the pockets and go, these are the hot pockets.
Right.
And when the opportunity comes to get one of those hot pockets and you see it's below market value, you don't worry about interest rates. you're like, that's an opportunity. I got to jump on it. Because what's happened is wealthy people, in my opinion, don't want maintenance. And they don't want to deal with renovations. They don't want old. They took an older home. It became valuable. And then they go, you know, it's going to cost me $800,000 to renovate this thing the way I want it. And you know what? I'm just going to sell this home, lose the 150 or 200 that I think it's not at its peak,
Right.
get out of it, take the equity that they have since they've owned the home for 15 years and go, you know what? I'm going to go buy this nice, shiny new thing. What do you think on that? Because your mom does this.
It depends on the neighborhood, but what I was getting to is money is expensive now.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people that you would say, yes, oh, that makes total sense. They're the ones that want to move into that neighborhood at that low rate still need to borrow at a 7 or over interest rate. So while yes, it makes sense fiscally, and you're like, okay, yeah, I can still, but you're spending double what you would have 5 years ago on that same property. Not only has the market gone up on that property, but the interest on that property has also gone up.
Do you think that there's an upside potential that adverts the thinking process on that, where you're like, you know, I don't care what interest rates are. I want to be in this neighborhood. It's the only piece of property that's come up in this neighborhood in the last 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the original question, I think it's hard because the most people I think who are struggling are the people who haven't had the chance to make money yet. The people who are established, yeah, like if you're at that point, you don't care what it is, you just want to get in that area. I mean, I think personally, like I'll spend more to get what I want, even if if it's not what exactly the best financial move, but it's something like I'm dead set on I want for my life, my family. I think that's worth kind of the trade-off. So I think it depends on what's their intentions with the property, right? Is it something they want to live in? Is it something they want to invest in? Something they want to flip? I mean, it all kind of depends on where you are in your stage of life, your financial position, and kind of what your, financial plan is going forward.
I want to get back to some small business stuff, but the biggest difference being from LA and living here for the last 10 years, people in North Carolina look at properties for the long term. They don't look at what they're going to make on the back end. Whereas people in LA I'm driving very minimal miles so I can get more out of my car. I'm moving to this location so I can maximize my return on investment. They may or may not move, but they're always thinking of how they can get out of it. People in North Carolina like to stay put. So if they find a place they like, they'll go for it. If they think, okay, well, the market's gone absolutely astronomical, there are houses that I've looked at, and I'm like, there's just no way that that's worth X amount.
Right.
So,
well, you're seeing a lot of influx for people from up north and out in LA. Well, you take a guy that sold his house in New Jersey for $1.2 million or $3 million or whatever it is, they can come out here for $600 and buy twice
maybe, yeah, exactly
what they had before, right? So that's raised a lot of the original North Carolinians. People have been here for 10, 15, 20 years, and they see all the influx of people from other states coming here and raising the prices. And I still think that we're at a undervalued of North Carolina. I still think Charlotte, for what Charlotte has to offer.
I agree.
Because we have football, we have, a major city now.
Yeah. I mean, we have, like you said, we have the Hornets, right? We have the Knights. We have, now we have the MLS team. We have a bunch of different sports. We have a lot of event centers, right? Where we have a bunch of concerts. I mean, it's a very attractive place.
I think so.
We're location-wise, I mean, mountains and beach are both, very manageable, easy to drive. I mean, it's a great, so I mean, from that standpoint, you would think it's a very desirable place to go.
So what advice would you give someone 20 that gets out of college to 30, and what advice would you give them if they are looking to purchase a home? What do they need the most to do in a pregame, like your pregame warm up? Like, okay, I got 23, 24 years old, and at 26, I'm gonna buy a home. I got 2 years.
Yep.
What advice do you give this person?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously we're using that credit card to build up credit because we're getting ready for that. But I think like literally pen and paper, budget every single line item of what's going in and out every month and plan about, all right, if I'm going to buy a house at X amount, let's say the interest rate is this, what's that monthly payment look like? Is that feasible for me? Does that make sense? Is that worth it? Is that above my means? Is that manageable? I remember when I bought this house, that's what I did, right? I mean, we got it a 6.99 rate when we first bought it, which that was a tough payment. But, I looked at worst case scenario, like very conservative, every single line, every expense, right? Every bill you're paying, what are you paying for food, right? What are you paying for gas? Like add that up. Yeah, exactly.
I
And
had no idea how much money I was spending on Starbucks. I drink coffee at home.
yeah,
Like I only time I ever really get Starbucks now is at the freaking airport.
Yeah.
I pay out to ask for it, but I want one.
you got to have it there, right? You're dragging, you need to pick me up. I get it. But yeah, I mean, little things like that add up.
They do.
They do. So
Oh, the Netflix, the Amazon Prime,
You know-
all the things that just you
don't-
don't think, you're like, oh well, my gas bill, my car bill, my all those, no problem. Then all of a sudden you're spending that same amount
Right.
in the small things, and you're like,
So this is something I'm going to talk about for a second. So on my iPhone, I was at my house years ago, and I have two boys. They're both 18 and 21 now. Great kids. But my ex-wife and my two boys and myself, we all were just clicking on apps. And my sons played these games, $2.99, $4.99, $6.99, right?
Mhm.
They haven't played these games since they were 10, 12 years old. And we updated something in the cloud, and then I went into my phone and I said, there was Pandora that was not my subscription for Pandora because I use it for music in the morning in the gym, and something was wrong. It was like not updating, like my credit card expired or something happened, like the expiration date, it didn't go through. And I'm like, all right, let me get in there. And I go, what is all this? And I screenshotted like 40 things and I sent it to everybody, and they go, I haven't played that. No, I don't do that. And I'm like, it added up to like almost $200 a month.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm sitting here
Yeah.
like, what the? And I went, delete. But the thing is, like you said, when you do the 0% interest for 6 months, 8 months, you forget.
You forget.
I forgot. So these subscription-based models, so one advice, if anyone's listening, the 3 people in the world, if they're listening, one good advice is, like you said, check your bank account regularly. Check your subscriptions, because a lot of times you're buying things that you bought once to use once,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden, like I think I bought Hulu, right? Because I wanted to watch this one show.
Yeah.
I haven't turned on Hulu in a year.
Yep.
So I had to go delete that shit, right?
Yep. I did the same thing. Peacock. I'm a huge Office fan, and it was on the only thing I could find was on Peacock, so I had it. But yeah, to your point, like if you're looking at your, like back to kind of a combination of that and your budget, if you go back through, and this is what I did, I look at my credit card history from the last 3 months. I wrote down every single charge, and I figured out, was that a one-time fee? Is that a monthly thing? Look at my checking account, right? Because sometimes you have your credit card linked, sometimes you have your checking account linked, right? So I went and looked at every single one, added all those up, and figured out what is like a monthly cost that I could add in my budget. What's a one-time deal? And then that's what you have to go off of.
All right. I know you're married for 5 years.
I am.
Do you have a joint bank account?
Oh yeah,
Why?
we are one, and everything we do, we're one.
Okay. One thing that my dad told me when I got married, and I got married in a long time ago, 94.
That's when I was born.
So, not 94, sorry, 2004. What am I thinking? No, it was 94. Sorry, it was 19. I graduated in 91. Holy cow, I am old. And these numbers are just getting,
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
I know, exactly.
I shouldn't have said that.
But my dad told me, he goes, son, there's one advice that I'm going to give you. And he's listening. I know he always listens to this. So it was one thing. He goes, listen, if you're going to have a joint bank account,
Mm-hmm.
no problem. But you need to have your own individual bank account, and she needs to have her own individual bank account. In any relationship, and it's a business relationship, it's a marriage, it's a commitment, right? But the thing is, there needs to be responsibilities to that relationship where each person has to own up to their responsibilities, right? So he goes, give her the phone bill, the cable bill, and maybe the insurance payment, right? And maybe average it up to $600 a month or $500 a month. Have her pay that that's her commitment from her bank account to the joint bank account. Then you, mortgage, car payment, insurance, meals, whatever, from your bank account go into that. And then you mutually pay the bills that each of you have said, I'm going to take 20% of the responsibility of the bills. I'm going to take 80%. Maybe it's 30. It depends on the income level. Like if her income is X, my income is X. We're going to take a prorated portion.
Sure.
And then when she goes, gets her nails done, gets her toes done, gets her hair colored, and then goes and buys Ray-Ban sunglasses, and then decides that she wants to go buy that dress that she wanted, it's coming out of her personal money. So I'm not over there going through a report going, why the hell you got your nails done 7 times and right? And then you went and bought, why did you go buy 42 Starbucks?
Yeah.
You're not arguing over who's buying what, as long as they live up to their responsibilities of the relationship, that you set the expectations. And I'm going to tell you, that was probably some of the best advice my dad has ever given me, because we never argued about money in my entire relationship, because she was responsible for X. I was responsible for my part. And then we did it as a team, as long as each person put that into the pile every month, and we would change the responsibilities here and there. And then when she became a stay-at-home mom years later, obviously things changed.
Right.
But I put her on payroll for the company, so she would still get a payroll check from the company to put her, and you're responsible for this, you're responsible for the groceries, you're responsible for that. So don't come to me saying, I need extra milk money. No, what do you think that's good advice for an up and coming marriage and up and coming people that don't know how to manage money as well as they should?
That's kind of a loaded question, right? So like, I think with my wife, like before we got married, we were 100% like financially on the same page. The only reason I might want to have separate accounts is if you ever wanted to like do something like a surprise or something. But she hates surprises, so I can never do anything. But no, we're an open book. She crushes it like in her career.
Right.
So there's no like
but what if
breadwinning thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
But what if she didn't crush it in her career? What if she's gone through 3 jobs in 5 years?
Yeah, I think it's all it's all like what you guys come to an agreement on. Like what's feasible. Like if one of them is like a lot more fiscally responsible, I think they should be the ones handling the bills so that you don't miss things, don't fall through the cracks. I'm all for like accountability on both sides. I really think it depends on the relationship, though.
So I'm in a relationship and just had someone move in, and we've really, so he makes more than I do, and it's fine, but we've handled things each equally. So we never feel like, okay, well, I'm handling this, so I'm worth more in the relationship. It's about, okay, is everything just cool? All right, we know it, and it just works. But you need to have either conversations, or you need to be so in tune with that person that you are like, okay, we know where our status quo is. We've gone through a couple situations where I'm like, hey, why is this at this point? Right. This should not be here. What do we need to do? So we pull back, and so it's been great, but it's all about having that conversation. And if you don't have that conversation, then
transparency.
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do is play the scoreboard game when you're trying to keep track of who's doing more, who's doing less. Like, no one wins in that situation.
No, you don't.
Because I'm in the early stages of a newborn.
She's doing a little scoreboard. Who's changed the diaper more? It's always a fun game.
She wins everything. I do my best to try to do what I can, but she definitely.
Who empties the diaper gene more?
That's me. But
take out the garbage.
No, I'm not gonna. If she listens to this, I'm not gonna tell her that gives me any leg up. No, she's way better as a mom than I am.
So I'm going to talk about that for just a brief second. When we had our first child, I was so excited to have a boy, and I was so excited to just be an over-caring, over-emotional person. So every squeak, every whatever, I ran, jumped, middle of the night, didn't matter. I would rock him, I would tickle him, I would hold him, everything, right? The second kid came along, 2 o'clock in the morning. Did you feed him before he went to bed? Yep. Did you change his diaper before he went? Yep. He'll be all right till the morning.
Yep.
Like, I literally... You learned, dude. And you know what the craziest thing is? My first son is the most neediest kid. He's awesome. I love him to death. He's just like me, very just needy. I'm needy. So in my second, chill as hell. Just whatever, dude. Like, I'm good. The hurricane's coming through. It didn't hit the house, so I'm good.
Right.
No, it's really unique that those little habits that you do as a parent very early on, when they're like newborn to like 1 year, how it sticks to the nurturing ability. Like, if you have a kid at the checkout counter and he's 1, 2, 3, 4 years old, and he screams every time to get bubble gum, and mom gives him the bubble gum, he knows screaming equals bubble gum.
Yep. Yeah, but sometimes mentally you can't deal with the screaming, so you just get the bubble gum. It's a tough game, the tough balancing act as a parent. to know when to give and when to not, and when you maybe should have been easier on them or maybe harder. And
Yeah.
we were talking about that yesterday, actually. So we have a men's group at First Citizens, and we meet every Wednesday morning. We're reading a book about, it's called like a Bible for dads, right? It's like how we can lead our household as men in Christ, and how to, where we actually just got through a chapter was wearing all the hats, right? Wearing the provider hat, wearing the, communicator hat, the enforcer hat, all the different hats we wear, and being able to be good at work, good with your kids, still, have your wife at the front, and then at the end of the day, have time for yourself. And it's so hard to manage all that. Sometimes you got to kind of give and take in different areas. And that's, I'm definitely in that right now. I know it's very taxing right now, but it's also very rewarding.
Well, one thing I went through when I went through some counseling was one of the counselors told me, because later in life, you had built up resentment that you don't get the attention that you once did when you were just you and her.
Yeah.
So a lot of marriages over the duration of, say, year 1 to year 10, and you got all the attention for the first couple of years. And then all of a sudden you get zero attention because you have 2 kids. Therapist said, I was the first kid. So the relationship, I need to be treated as the firstborn, and that I need to have my needs met first. Now, what the therapist said to me was, you have a house, you provide shelter, safety, love, security to your children. And as long as you hit those things, you're doing your job as a parent. Now, if you choose to do more than that, you're going to take away from the time that you and your first relationship was with you and your wife. If you don't spend time in that relationship and nurture that and seed it and water it, it will fizzle out and not grow, and it will become a withered tree. And so I really look at that advice, and I wish I would have gotten at that advice about 5 years earlier. Okay. Because what happens is that when, your spouse is volunteering at the school, and you're going here and you're doing this and you're catering, like completely catering to these children, the dishes don't get done. You're out of milk, you're out of all these different things, and then you don't have clean underwear, and then you come home from a stressful day, you have 2 employees, that one quit on you, the other one was doing this, and then all of a sudden you're running a business, you're trying to pay bills, and you walk in the door and all you want is a hug. You just want to walk in the door and have the person that loves you just walk up to you for that first 3 minutes and hug you. Just hug you. Just say, we're safe. We have a home.
It's going to be okay.
Everything's okay. Because I'm the first baby. I'm a child. So literally, I need that mother instinct to me first.
Right.
It's not sex. It's not, hey, baby, let's go hit the sack. It's, I need some nurturing, right? And if I don't get it all day, I don't get it at home, and then every day turns into another day and another day and another day and another day, deep down in your brain, you're building resentment unconsciously. And then you start getting angry at the little things that aren't getting done, like the laundry didn't get done. Then all of a sudden the dishes are piled up in the dishwasher, and you're like, the dishwasher's right here. And then you're starting to go, the trash hasn't been taken out. It's got flies and gnats. Then you start going, well, have you cleaned the house? And then you start realizing, well, they have a job, they have a career, and all your balancing act.
Yeah.
So I've learned quite a bit at 52 years old. And a lot of the stuff you learn later in life is from the mistakes that you made early in life. And then you'd say the wisdom comes with age. It's so true. So if you can hang around people like your men's group that have some people that are 40, 50, 60 years old, that have been through divorces, who have been through some hardships, who have been through some pain and some suffering, they're better people because they can share the knowledge of what they did wrong or where the mistakes they've made to help you not make the same mistakes. And that's what a coach does. Like for me in my business, I'm always like, bro, I've had 36 years of reps. I've had these reps. I've repped the ball and thrown more interceptions than you've actually thrown the ball. So can we just understand that I can coach you on a playbook of not where to throw it, that kind of thing. So in your group, what are you learning from this group and what are you getting out of it?
Oh man, that's awesome, man. Well, one, I love it. It's like like church on Sunday, it's like a nice midweek kind of refocus, but it's like we all came from different religious backgrounds. I'm the youngest guy by, 7, 8 years probably, but most all of them have kids, but like there's me who have, and a couple other guys who have kids who are below 5, and some kids are out of college and starting their families. So everything in between, to hear the different perspectives and to hear how people handle situations, right? To hear what I have looked forward to or not look forward to and how they handle situations. And I give them something I'm struggling with. You mentioned wanting a hug when you get home. 2 days ago, my daughter said she didn't want to see us, either one of us, which was a gut shot, because nothing I want more than her to run to me and give me a hug and say daddy, which she did yesterday, so we're cool now. But yeah, man, I mean, it's as a parent, it's so hard, and every day is different, and there's no right answer, right? Every single person can have a different perspective on how to do things. So it's really good to have that group to bounce things off. Honestly, be vulnerable, because you don't really, as a father, as a man, you try to kind of keep things in and act like you got it all, and we really don't,
Right.
So it's cool to have that space to kind of let it out there. And
It's amazing.
yeah.
So let me ask you this. Who navigated you towards being a banker?
So I've always loved numbers. I've always been pretty good at saving money. And in college, I was in finance and management because I wanted to do that. And it's funny enough, a guy came and presented to my dad. My dad owns a at-home healthcare staffing company in Middle Tennessee. And so a guy came to present to him about their 401k plan, doing something. And my dad mentioned, hey, do you guys, by chance, have any roles for a banker? My son's in finance. And so I got interviewed, and 6 interviews later, I got the job out of
What was that job?
It was a business banker like I am back at BB&T.
Oh, right.
Back in the days.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's funny enough, the guy who hired me told me, he's like, there were plenty of people I interviewed who had GPAs way over you, but no one else looked me in the eye and could carry a conversation like you. And honestly speaks to kind of what I do and what I enjoy, and what I honestly think is one of my strengths is that relationship building trust, forming a connection with somebody. It's a lot easier to want to do business and rely on people to do business when you have that.
You hit the nail on the head. It's not always what you scored on a test.
Right.
It's how you connect with the person in front of you. So your first job was at BB&T.
And I was in a leadership program development.
Now, walk me through the first year. What did you do? Your job title?
Yeah.
How did you originate business?
Yeah.
And I don't want you to get into too much detail, but how does a banker get paid?
Yeah.
I'm really curious. I'm even curious. I'm like, how does a banker get paid?
Yeah. So a lot of it is, I first off, I literally just sat behind everybody and looked over their shoulder, figure out how they were doing it, right? You want to try to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. And I was blessed to be on a floor where every single person there was good at what they did and are now crushing it at whatever bank they're at. So I was on a rock star team, so that helped. So just absorbing everything like a sponge. But as far as going out and getting business, I think when you think of business owners, a lot of business owners, I've worked with a lot of men, right? A lot of business owners that I work with are men. And so a lot of them like sports, a lot of them like golf, So I kind of use, not all of them, there's a lot of women, especially now, are growing, but I kind of use that. You find even if it's in their office, you see a picture or something, you see what they like, see if you have a connection to that. Try to find some sort of thing to spark an interest, because once you hear you have something in common, you instantly trust that person a little bit more. But I was going to a lot of networking events, grabbing drinks after work, taking people to lunch. That's a fun part of what we do, right? Get people out of their office so they can let their guard down, and then that's when you can form relationships with them.
So what are you looking for in a business owner? What would be the first step? If you were courting someone business with you, what's the first step of courting, and what would you want from that person in return? Their bank accounts to come from whatever bank they're at to come over to you?
Yeah, first off, before I'm even looking at what I can get out of them, I'm looking at who they are, right? I want to work with somebody who I like, and I like what they're doing. And I believe in that, right? And if they got their act together, that's great. And then, then we can dig into, what their financial picture looks like, what they're looking to do, all that good stuff. But yeah, when I'm looking at bringing someone over to my bank, I want to essentially be their extension of their company, like a fractional CFO. I want them to believe me, to trust me that I'm going to take care of them with everything they have, both on the personal and the business side. I focus on the business side, but it all kind of affects each other.
When you say
right?
take care of someone, what would that entitle?
Yeah. So my job is I'm like the relationship manager. So whether it's loans, anything with a business, right? Checking accounts, credit cards, lines of credit, cars, insurance, employee benefit, all that stuff, like that I kind of am the one who handles it, and I bring in the partners who are the subject matter experts in that. So that's kind of what I do, right?
You're a broker.
Essentially, yeah. And I handle some of it, but yeah. And so my job is to figure out what your business is, like what stage you are, and what areas I could help on, and bring in the right partners who are the experts to really add value there.
So if I want to do a mortgage with you, your mortgage department expert would be involved, and you would be the liaison.
Well, if it's on the
between
my business side, I do that. If it's on the personal side, yeah, we do have a mortgage group.
So if you're a business owner and you're looking to buy a building or buy a piece of property, you would build a relationship with this business. You would build trust, see where they're going. You're both aligned in vision. You trust this person. They know they have good business sense. They have good credit. They have a wherewithal to go. They want a growth model,
Right.
And you help them with that growth model,
Right. People think, like I said originally, people think a banker is a place to go get money, right? A bank is a place to go get money, and a banker is a lender. People don't think we do all the other things. When I want to be a one-stop shop for everything, right? If you don't know who, go to me and I figure it out. But yeah, exactly. It's kind of
How
how it
about
works.
investments? Do you help them with investments?
Yeah, so we have a whole wealth group, but so I'm constantly looking at whether it's on the business side or personal side, like we have that. And that's part of that kind of quarterback. Like I like to say I'm a quarterback, right? Being a football guy.
Yeah.
And so I kind of figure out what their needs are. And again, bring the subject matter expert to the table to kind of help plan it out, put their assets where they want to be, that they feel comfortable in. But it's nice that I have partners in all those areas that I'm a part of the conversation.
Let's talk about investing. I think the stock market now has become computerized, AI. I went to ChatGPT yesterday and I said, hey, I've got $500 and I want to invest $500 every month for the next 15 years. And I need you to pick the 3 highest rated return stocks for me. And I want to just every month put $500 in each one of these companies. And it came up with 3 companies. And it said, this is the reason why, and this is the growth, and this is the strategies, and blah, 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 blah. So I can go on any platform, Robinhood, Fidelity. Do you guys have a platform for that as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what is the ease of this? So like if I am saying to you and your wealth team, hey, I want these 3 stocks. I went to ChatGPT and I listened to it and I said, I want to buy these 3 stocks and I want 500 in each one of them every month for the next 15 years. Would you make it easy for someone like me to want to do that? Like if I come to you and I go, hey, this is where I'm thinking, what would you be the one I talk to, or would you get me into with your wealth management team and say, I think you need to talk to these guys?
I would say come to me with everything.
Yep.
But as soon as I know you want to really dive into investments, I would have my wealth partner there. But it's really our job, really, in anything we do, is to understand what you want and then help you get there the right way. And if it's if it's a loan or something that you really can't afford, show you why you probably shouldn't do that, right? I don't just want to be a yes man that gives you everything. I want to coach you up when maybe you're doing a business practice that isn't right? From what I've seen with other businesses, or if I'm looking at the numbers, it doesn't make sense. Not every deal is a good deal to do. And so it's kind of part of the guidance part that we are.
Do you do payroll help?
We can, yeah. It's not a big thing that we do, but another part of it is like, if it's not a service that we're really good at, we're going to do, the network we built up, we have people we trust that we can refer you to.
That's the thing that I wanted you to hit on is I go to small business networking groups and I see guys that are probably 2 employees.
Right.
They're running it as a sole proprietor. They're not even protected as an LLC or an S Corp or any types of things. And one of the best advices I get from other people is when you start a new business, have a good attorney and have a good accountant and have people like yourself that you can build a relationship with as a sounding board going, hey, this is what I need to do and this is how I do it so you can stay out of trouble later. Because I see a lot of small businesses that get into business, then 3 to 5 years later, they start making some money and they didn't put themselves on payroll. They didn't start paying sales tax. They didn't part this. They didn't do this. And then all of a sudden they're out of business because they have 3 years of past tax bills and things like this. One of the nice things that I did years and years and years ago is you have to pay yourself as an owner of the company and you have to treat them separately. Like I'm an employee of my company. I get a payroll check from my company. Now I take dividends or I take distributions based on profits, but I didn't learn this the first year I was in business, right? It took years and years for me to understand these types of things. So the coaching and the education of starting a new business, this is something that you have a lot of knowledge in. So when you build a relationship with someone like you, you can coach them on the little things that they may have had oversight on. Is that not right?
100%. You're exactly right. And to your point, I think every business owner should have a really good attorney, CPA, and banker. And like I said, you want to lean on people who know more about that than you do and help educate you, protect you, and help you grow.
Do you think one day we will not have the IRS?
It'd be nice.
Well, I wasn't ready for that one. I know. I don't think, not in our lifetime.
No, I was literally listening to Elon, and I'm like, dude, could you imagine if we had just a flat tax for everything? Because you think what I would consider the minority, right? The people that, I'm just going to say, make under 40 grand a year, the people that make 40 to 80, and the people 80 up. That's considered 40 to 80 is what, middle class maybe, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you say 80 up is considered, a top tier class, right? And income class.
Yeah.
And so when you see the people that make 40 and under, and they get so many more, they get the phones, they get the help, they get all the government help and stuff. And then the hardworking people that are struggling to pay their insurance on their 2 cars and their house payments, and then the interest rates go up on things, et cetera, we're actually, the middle class is taking the burden of a lot of that stress, right? So if we turned around and had a flat tax on consumption, like if you drive a car more, you pay more tax because you're buying gasoline.
Not leveling the playing field a little bit.
Just level it all out. Like if I go buy a boat, I'm paying tax. If I go buy a car, I'm paying tax. Right. If I buy 5 trucks for my company, I'm paying more tax. So if you use more, you pay more. If you don't use more, you don't pay more. So if I go to the grocery store and spend $1,000 at Costco, I'm going to pay more. And if I go there and pay $100, I'm going to pay less. So if you have a smaller family, you pay less. If you have a bigger family, or if you make a lot of money and you buy lots of things and you buy more houses and buy more cars and you buy more things, there's a consumption tax, right? So I just look at it, if it was a complete leveling playing field, state should have a consumption tax. It shouldn't be an income tax on, like in Texas, there's not a state income tax. And I was like, oh, great, I have a house in Texas. Oh, then I got my freaking property bill, man. I was like, what?
They're going to get you one way.
I was like, holy Jesus, we should just rent a house. Can I sell this damn thing tomorrow? I got a $10,000 bill. And I was like, this is a freaking $500,000 house in Charlotte. That's $4,000.
Yeah.
I'm paying 10 in Texas.
Yeah.
Now I know why, because they don't have state income tax. So what I'm saying is I'm pissed off here. I'm like, I'm going to move to Texas, get my ID here, save money. No, you're not saving money. In Florida, like all these people that think you're moving to different states
to save money, they're going to get you another way.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I think if we could eventually one day get to the point of where everyone could just spend more money and the government could collect more taxes and the state could collect more taxes on what you spend, I think that would be amazing in my book.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, at the end, to speak of those government programs, it's so hard, man, because, you don't know if people are sitting there waiting on a paycheck or if they're working hard or they got a bad hand, or you don't know what these people's situations are, right? So it's hard to it's hard for the government to have a blanketed thing like that, so it's kind of a losing game.
I get
and everyone's going to be mad for some reason.
Since COVID, have you seen small business owners? What have you, I know you deal with a lot of small business owners. What are their biggest struggles right now?
Employment.
100%. Why is that?
Because nobody wants to work.
When you say that, you're wrong.
Enough. People want less. People want
paid.
Yes, people want easier, like being at home, but less people want the more physical, demanding jobs. Because COVID taught us we can work from home. Everybody wants a remote job. So that's kind of what I meant by that.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a change now. In the last probably 6 months, I'm seeing a big change from Arizona to Texas to here. I'm seeing a big change. I'm seeing a whole reignitement of workers wanting to work again. And I'm just trying to understand, is it because they're broke now? The handouts are gone? Or is social media playing a big part of, like, you're seeing more of these speakers and coaches and people out there saying, if you want more, you have to do more. You're seeing more of that on the internet now. You're seeing more guys like the Grant Cardones, these 10X, these meetings and these hyper this and the Cody Sanchez's and the people. And you're like, no, you got to do this and you got to do this and you got to do this. And it's okay. It's sexy now to actually own a business cutting grass. It's sexy to be a plumber. It's sexy to be heat and air. It's sexy to work on a car and have a garage and be a mechanic, right?
Yeah, the less desirable jobs.
It's not sexy to be a lawyer anymore.
Right.
Like it is not sexy. Like because AI is going to kill that. To be a lawyer, you're going to get killed, because here's the problem. Most small people that want to do contracts, you can write a contract right now. I can get on ChatGPT and say, hey, I need a contract between me and you. We're about to do this, this, and this, and this. Can you write it in a legal format that would hold up in court, and it would write it for you? And it would say, sign here, sign here. You used to pay an attorney $250 an hour to write you a piece of paper.
Certain areas of law.
Right,
Yeah.
the basic stuff.
Yeah.
You're talking your baseline.
Sure.
What I consider a lawyer's assistant. What's a lawyer's assistant?
Paralegal.
Paralegal, there you go. So a paralegal works.
My wife's one's an attorney, so I know.
Right. So I know that. That's why I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing some changes in now with AI having the resources available at the fingertips that we didn't have access to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, all the AI technology that's coming out, what jobs are going to be affected? So to me, I feel like the fear factor of what AI is now going to take people's jobs. They're like, oh shit, I got to go work. I now have to put some freaking effort in, because if not, this company's going to be like, you're gone.
Yeah, I don't want to be replaced by a robot.
Correct. So I feel like this is where I see the tipping. I'm seeing it now.
Right.
Because I travel so much, and I'm seeing all the different states and all the different people and all the different businesses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm seeing a momentum change. We're going to wrap that up. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? We'll wrap it up.
I think it's true. What I like about what we do is you need a physical application. So in the window tinting, I'm just going to use that as an example. It's something that is necessary. Pharmacists is going to be interesting, because you can have a robot, you can have AI. Oh, this person's coming in. This pill. You don't need somebody to physically grab and sort. Now you can have something that eliminates all possible error in that kind of field.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen for pharmacists?
Content writers.
I mean,
So you got some of that. There's a bit
It's
of
be
flair,
creative.
right?
yeah.
But to me, it's the hands-on applications. Now, obviously, you could say, well, an assembly line worker just got replaced by a robot. True, but now that robot needs to be serviced. The robot can't service itself.
No.
So do you just do you change the way you think and the way you apply that knowledge?
Right.
Yes. You don't just say, oh, shucks.
All right.
But there are things in which you have different applications. Cars are different. So when you install window film, it's different on each car. Prepping each window is different. How you approach each thing is different. So looking at infrastructures and businesses that have something that's differing on a daily basis are the ones that are going to stay alive.
And I think it'll be interesting to see how, with the age of automation that we're in, AI, when people are like go into college and stuff, how it's going to redirect what they're going to focus on, right? Because people are going to be geared toward jobs that aren't easily replaceable, which is something that until now hasn't really been a thought. So it'll be interesting.
You and I have talked about this. Anybody who works hands-on AC repair,
Right.
plumbers, they make stupid amounts of money a year, and you don't have to have a college degree.
Yeah, you trade school.
And that, because it's not sexy, it's not talked about. It's not something that is desired.
Right.
But everybody who wants to be an influencer, everybody who wants to be a content creator, everybody who wants to be, that can all go away like that.
Right.
People are buying homes. People have needs like that.
I told a friend of mine, my son has one of his close friends that's doing heating and air.
Mm-hmm.
He went to college, dropped out because he didn't want to do it because of the years it takes and the financial burden.
Mm-hmm.
He went to work for one of the big heat and air companies. They got mentored, signed an apprenticeship program. He's now has his own van. He's now a certified tech. And I go, listen, you're more valuable than a lawyer. You're more valuable than a doctor when your air conditioning is broke and it's 9 o'clock at night and it's 100 degrees outside.
I tell you that. I am a man who needs my air conditioning at night for sure.
So anyway, it's sexy
Until it isn't.
to have a job that is a service-based job. So service industry, guys, if you're looking to grow and you have kids and you want to send them to college and you think that going to an Ivy League school and going to all the $200,000 that you're going to have to spend in 5 years. And what I have seen, and I'm going to wrap this up, what I've seen is a lot of people are sending their kids to all these big schools, big universities, not for the education, but for the networking that's going to be there. Because now their dads own businesses, their family owns businesses. So it's kind of like the elite going and getting their kids to meet and date. It's almost like the kings and queens over the centuries years ago
Yeah.
go, hey, your daughter's going to marry my son, and now we're going to have 4 kingdoms.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you, right?
Right.
It's how do you get
You
in
network.
front of the right people.
So if you're going to go to college, do it for not just the education of why you're going, but actually get the value of networking in the fraternities. Find out whose dad owns what.
Yep.
And when they go on a fishing trip, you say, hey, can I come?
Right.
And then that dad goes, dude, you're the coolest dude ever. And then it's the kids that's,
Let me know if you need a job. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's how.
exactly.
Right. Yep. So let's wrap it up. It's Real Talk with Mike Burke. I'm here with my boy Garrett, my boy Rev. Thanks for listening to Real Talk with Mike Burke and Micah in the studio. It's always a pleasure. 1 hour, 45 seconds. We wrapped it up. Well, if you liked the podcast, please subscribe. And if you liked it so much, subscribe and share it to a friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day. See you.